Good morning students, I am your educator Dalsy and today we are going to start the second division or the second kind of gamete formation, that is said to be the oogenesis. So what is oogenesis? Oo represents the ova and genesis means synthesis or the formation. So the process of formation of a mature female gametophyte is known as the oogenesis. As you know, female reproductive organs are known as the ovaries, so the production of the female gametes occur in the female gonads, that are ovaries. So as you know, ovaries are present in the pelvic cavity, on the both side of the pelvic cavity. So similar to the spermatogenesis, it comprises of three phases. First is multiplication phase, second is growth phase, and third one is the maturation phase. So as its name implies, multiplication phase is the phase in which the fetal development occurs. So it is a phase which is just as a kind of growth which occurs during the fetal or the initiation gonadal formation. It is a time where the formation of gonads occur during the fetal development. So what happens in this phase? The germinal epithelium of the ovary of the fetus, means when the baby is in the womb of the mother. Germinal epithelium cells are usually, some of the germinal epithelium cells are large in size than the other. Those large size germinal epithelium cells, they divide by mitosis and produce couple of million egg mother cells, and egg mother cells are known as the gonial cells or the oogonia in each ovary of the fetus. No more oogonia are formed or added after the birth. Then the first division is mitotic division, which result in formation of the primary oocyte, similar to the spermatogenesis. The multiplication phase is followed by the growth phase. So what happens in the growth phase? In the growth phase, usually the division of the cells takes place. What happens in this phase? If you have done or heard about the TS of the ovary, then you must be familiar about the follicles. Follicles are usually of three types: primary follicle, secondary follicle, and tertiary follicle. So growth phase is the phase which starts from birth and it lies up to puberty. Means before puberty, before the onset of puberty, the germinal epithelium or the gonads of the ovary, they rest at the stage of a growth phase. So in this phase, the primary oocyte is this phase of primary oocyte is very long. It is of long duration and it may extend up to years, as it starts from birth up to the puberty, and it grows in this phase. The oogonia that grows into primary oocyte by taking food from the primary follicles. The most important phase of the oogenesis is maturation phase. It is the phase in which the meiotic division takes place, which result in formation of first the polar body and second the secondary oocyte, which is released at the time of the ovulation. So like primary spermatocyte, each primary oocyte, it undergo two maturation divisions. First is meiotic 1 and second is meiosis 2. The result of maturation division it result in is different from spermatogenesis. As you know, in the first meiotic division, the primary oocyte, it divides into two, but this division is not equal like the secondary spermatocyte. The division result in formation of two unequal sized haploid daughter cell. One larger one is said to be secondary oocyte and other smaller one is said to be the first polar body or the polocyte. Then this secondary oocyte, it undergoes second maturation division, that is mitosis second, and result in formation of the secondary ootids, and the first polar body it divides to form the two polar bodies. So after meiosis second, four cells are formed. Two are ootids and other are the secondary polar bodies. So as is shown in diagram, what happens in multiplication phase? The oogonium, which has diploid content of DNA, it undergoes mitosis and result in formation of additional oogonia, and the large size of oogonia, they divide mitotically in the growth phase and result in formation of primary oocyte. That primary oocyte in maturation phase undergo two maturation division. First is meiosis 1, second is meiosis 2. Meiosis 1 result in formation of first polar body and the secondary oocyte, which is released at the time of the ovulation on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. This primary body and this secondary oocyte then undergo meiosis second and result in formation of form one polar body, two polar bodies are formed from the secondary oocyte, one polar body and second mature oocyte is formed, which ultimately change up into the mature ovum. So as you know, and as if you have read about this, that secondary polar bodies or the all the three polar bodies, they get consumed by the ovarian wall or their uterus, ultimately they degenerate. While if the ova, it undergoes fertilization or it receives the sperm during the fertility period or the fertilization occur, then it undergoes the meiotic second division and result in formation of the zygote. If there is no fertilization, then that released ova will be released with the menstrual flow from the ovary in the means stage. So the three phases are multiplication phase, growth phase and the maturation phase, which undergo same first mitotic and second meiotic division, which result in formation of single ovum. And keep this in mind, not like spermatogenesis, oogenesis is highly wasteful process in which atrophy of the oogonia, oocyte and ovum takes place in the form of follicles. So it is the kind of process in which if we assume we have 6 to 7 million ova at the time of birth, from that only 400 to 350 ova are released from the female during her whole reproductive period, starting from puberty up to menopause. So it is not too, it is very expensive type of process which leads to wastage of many kind of energy of the female. And as we have done last, the most important topic is the hormonal control. See, as you know, all the gonads, all the tissues of the body are under the control of pituitary gland, but itself pituitary gland is under the control of the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus releases a hormone, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone, which induces the pituitary to release two hormones, that are LH and FSH. Both these hormones act on ovary and result in formation of female sex hormones, that are estrogen and progesterone, which are responsible for both the menstrual cycle maintenance and for the pregnancy. Progesterone is for pregnancy and estrogen is for menstrual control. Both these hormones ultimately control the thickening and thinning or shedding of the uterus wall, which is necessary for the implantation and the pregnancy. So estrogen and progesterone, they influence the hypothalamus and pituitary both positively and negatively and control the secretion of the hormone. So both the gametogenesis, whether spermatogenesis and oogenesis, are very important from the point of view of your exam and from the NEET point of view. That's all for today. Thank you.